Tom Aspinall's line in the sand landed like a heavyweight haymaker. "I will never defend a placeholder strap again." That quiet ultimatum reverberated farther than any cage-side knockout because it exposed a division held hostage by one man's absence. While Jon Jones lounges in Phuket filming reality TV and teasing a late 2025 return, Aspinall, whose last 3 fights totaled under 4 minutes, has spent nearly a year sharpening his fists in daily grinds with no target in sight. Fans and media whisper that the interim belt he wears feels hollow until Jones, or someone, steps up. Now, the Englishman's patience has snapped. He's no longer content to babysit an interim title that sits awkwardly beside an undisputed one, gathering dust. In a sport where action defines legacy, Aspinall just told the MMA world, "Fight me, or step aside," and the ripples might redraw the heavyweight map for good. Here's what no one's saying out loud. The UFC's heavyweight division, the one that's supposed to crown the baddest man on the planet, has been running on fumes. Jon Jones returned, wrecked Cyril Gane in 2 minutes, and walked away with the undisputed belt. That part? Legendary. What came after? A vanishing act. Now brace yourself because this is where the story starts to rot. While the division begged for clarity, Jones was off filming reality TV in Moscow and sipping smoothies in Thailand. No camp, no contract, no opponent, just cryptic tweets and sunshine selfies. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall cleaned out Sergey Pavlovich in 69 seconds like he was late for dinner. That's not a win, that's a warning. So the UFC slapped the interim title on him, hoping it would hold the line until Jones returned. But here's the twist they didn't plan for. Aspinall didn't wait around. He defended the interim title in his hometown, avenged a career-threatening loss, destroyed Curtis Blaydes in just over a minute, and proved one thing: he's not the placeholder. He's the problem. Still, the phone never rang. Jones stayed silent. Dana White threw out vague timelines like maybe November. And fans? They stopped asking when, and started asking why the hell is Tom Aspinall still being treated like a side note? The system started cracking. Interim belts are meant to bridge gaps, but this one became a cage. Tom's trapped holding a golden paperweight while the real title collects dust on a shelf somewhere in Albuquerque. And here's the part that'll sting. Every day that Jones doesn't defend, his belt means less. Every day Tom trains with no name, no date, no purpose, the real crown slips further off John's head and lands closer to Tom's. So let's call it what it is. One man is fighting, the other is filming. One wants war, the other wants leverage. And the belt doesn't care who holds it, cares who earns it.
Jon Jones wants 6 months. He wants 6 months to prepare for Aspinall. He wants 6 months. He can have them. How would I control it? How would anybody control it? Jon has the undisputed.
This is where most careers end. Tom Aspinall steps into the O2 Arena, July 2022. 15 seconds in, his knee snaps. No punch landed, no fight delivered, just pain, silence, and a stretcher. But here's what made it different. He didn't fold, he rebuilt. Surgery, rehab, the long, lonely climb. And when he came back terrifying. November 2023, Madison Square Garden. Sergey Pavlovich, everyone's favorite knockout machine, gets smoked in 69 seconds. One counter, one kill shot, interim champion, just like that. But Aspinall wasn't finished. In February, he ran it back with Curtis Blaydes, the man tied to his darkest night. In front of a sold-out Manchester crowd, he erased the ghost. Just over a minute in, another brutal finish. Another exclamation point. He wasn't proving he belonged, he was proving he never left. But here's the gut punch. Even after back-to-back violence, he still didn't get the real shot. No unification, no contract, just silence. And that's when the switch flipped. He didn't survive the worst moment of his life just to sit around and wait. Let's get something straight.
He's the interim UFC heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall.
Yeah. Is Jon Jones scared to fight you?
Didn't want to fight Ngannou for 3 years. Now he's not wanting to fight me for over a year. Conning the public, man.
Is that fight happening?
I think you're getting a reality.
Jon Jones didn't earn the heavyweight belt. He took it. Quick, clean, brutal. He walked into the octagon after a 3-year layoff and made Cyril Gane look like an amateur. 2 minutes, tap, legacy sealed, but then he disappeared. No title defense, no fight announcement. Just surgery, recovery updates, and luxury detours. And this is where the story starts to crack. Instead of facing Aspinall, Jones is filming reality shows in Russia with Nate Diaz, training in Thailand, going live on Instagram to shut down critics, all while offering zero clarity on when or if he'll ever return. It's not just about injuries anymore. It's about choices. He's not rushing back. He's not in negotiations. He's not signing anything. And every second he stays silent, the crown feels heavier. Now, here's where things get uncomfortable. Jon Jones built a legacy on dominance, but he's now holding a division hostage. He's the king who locked the gates behind him and left the people to starve. Even Dana White looks cornered. First it was Jon's in recovery. Then it was Jon wants Stipe. Now, it's just stay tuned. And Tom Aspinall? He's done staying tuned. This isn't the GOAT era anymore, it's the Ghost era. And every time Jones posts a vacation clip instead of a training camp, he's telling the world exactly where his priorities lie. Here's the cold truth. A belt doesn't care about your resume. It cares what you've done lately. And right now, Jon Jones is defending nothing except his comfort zone. The moment everything snapped, Tom Aspinall draws the line and delivers a message that shook the entire UFC.
The press conference, going through the whole shebang with him, I'd rather not do. Pereira on the other side, respectful, cool, barely says much. It's like, I'll do business with you.
It wasn't a meltdown. It wasn't rage. It was something worse. It was controlled, calm, final. Tom Aspinall sat in front of his phone, stared straight ahead, and said the words that lit the fuse. I'm not defending the interim title ever again. No yelling, no callouts, no drama, just truth. Delivered like a fighter who's done playing along. And that line, it hit like a knockout. Because it wasn't just about Jon Jones. It was about the UFC, the matchmakers, the broken promises. It was about wasting prime years for a belt that feels more like a prop than a prize. Here's the part they don't want you to hear. Tom's not injured, he's not ducking. He's not asking for favors, he's healthy, ready, dangerous, and he's being told, wait, for what? For who? For a champion who won't show up. His coach even said it bluntly. No fight means no paycheck. For Tom, for me, for anyone months of training, no contract, no progress, no plan. Aspinall's not frustrated. He's finished. Finished babysitting a division that refuses to move. Finished carrying a belt that no one will validate. Finished waiting for the UFC to grow a spine and make the fight. This was the line in the sand. Fight me, or crown someone else. But don't ask me to defend a ghost title while the real one collects dust. Coming up, the fans revolt, the media piles on, and the pressure explodes. Why everyone, from analysts to ex-champs, is calling for the UFC to hand Aspinall the real belt. This wasn't just a call-out. It became a movement. The moment Tom Aspinall said he was done defending the interim belt, fans didn't flinch. They rallied. Reddit caught fire. MMA Twitter flipped. YouTube thumbnails screamed, "Strip Jon Jones now" in all caps. And within 72 hours, Number Free the Division was trending across every combat sports forum. But wait, it gets even louder. Petitions to strip Jones racked up thousands of signatures overnight. Podcasts lit up with fury. Ariel Helwani said what everyone was thinking. If Jon can't defend by the end of the year, the UFC has to move on. Even fighters, former champs, started to speak up. Daniel Cormier, Michael Bisping, Frank Mir. All of them said it. Tom Aspinall is the real champ, period. And here's where it gets dangerous for the UFC. The fans don't just like Tom. They believe in him. He's not begging for a title shot, he's earning one every single day. And the man blocking him, he's off camera, off radar, off the grid. This isn't a rivalry anymore, it's a referendum. One fighter's chasing greatness, the other's chasing time. And if the UFC doesn't act soon, they won't just lose control of the narrative, they'll lose the fans. Because when every post, every podcast, every headline says the same thing, you either crown Tom Aspinall or admit the belt is a lie. The three paths the UFC can take, and why each one could explode in their face if they pick wrong.
Jon Jones is probably watching this, so send him a message.
Hello, Jon. I have nothing against you personally, but I just think I'm better than you. I just know that I can beat you in a fight, so I'm coming for it.
The UFC has a choice to make, but let's be real. No matter what they do, someone bleeds. Door number 1, unify the titles. Jones versus Aspinall, MSG, end of 2025. The kind of fight that sells out arenas before the poster even drops. Legacy versus legitimacy. The greatest fighter of all time versus the most dangerous heavyweight on earth. Sounds perfect, right? Only problem? There's no signature. Jones still hasn't committed, and every delay makes the hype colder, the fans angrier, and the risk of another injury higher. Wait too long, and this dream fight dies in the planning stage. Door number 2, strip the ghost. Take the belt off Jones. Elevate Aspinall to undisputed. Have him defend it against Cyril Gane, Jilton Almeida, or whoever survives the next warzone at the top. Clean slate, clean momentum. But here's the gamble. Strip Jones, and you risk alienating the UFC's most decorated name. The GOAT walks, the media splits, the debate never ends. Fair? Maybe. Explosive? Absolutely. Door number 3, let Jones walk away. Let him retire quietly. Title vacated. No drama, no headlines. Book Tom versus Gane. Start the new era without ever looking back. Safe, efficient, boring. But here's the twist. That's the option that buries Jones's career in a whisper. No final fight, no passing of the torch, just a silent exit while the division resets without him. The truth? None of these options are perfect, but letting the clock run out with no answer? That's the one move the UFC can't afford. Because when a division stalls, so does the brand. And the fans? They're not waiting anymore. Next, inside Aspinall's daily grind, what it's like to train for nobody, get paid nothing, and still fight like the title's already yours.
Weeks off? Did he take a whole month off? For heaven's sakes, did he take the whole time off? It's been 4.5 months since that fight. Did he not train? Train with Aspinall in mind? Did he not full well know the undisputed champion was going to take on the interim champion? What do you mean he needs 6 months? 6 months starting when?
Here's what no one sees on the highlight reels. Tom Aspinall wakes up every day, walks into the gym, and trains like a man with a date circled on the calendar. But there's no date, no opponent, no paycheck, just the grind. His team is sparring, game planning, studying tape on everyone. Jones, Gain, Blades, Almeida, preparing for all of them and none of them. Every week they switch strategies, like flipping channels in the dark, hoping the TV turns on. And here's the part that stings. His coach, not getting paid. His team, waiting on scraps. The man training for a world title is also fighting to keep his people fed. This isn't motivation. This is survival. But despite all that, Tom's leveling up, switching stances, mixing in judo, cleaning up his wrestling. Gym footage shows him doing things he's never done before, and the world hasn't even seen version 2.0 yet. And still, nothing. No call, no contract, no clarity. This is what happens when the system breaks. Fighters rot on the sidelines while the company plays politics with gold. And Aspinall, he's still showing up, still pushing forward. Not because he has to, because he refuses to let the silence win. He's not waiting on Jon Jones anymore. He's building something Jones will have to survive, if he ever comes back. What this standoff really means for the sport, and why the future of the heavyweight division depends on whether the UFC does what's right or what's easy.
If I'm being completely honest, I feel like Tom's been such an asshole that I don't want to do business with him. You know, it's just like his fans have been so annoying. And obviously you don't get this far in a career being affected by fans or whatnot. But he's...
This has outgrown Tom Aspinall. It's no longer just about a matchup. It's about a message to every fighter, every fan, and every future contender watching this play out. Because what's happening right now, it's a warning. The UFC always promised one thing. The best fight, the best. That rankings matter. That activity matters. That champions defend. But Jon Jones hasn't fought in over a year, hasn't signed a contract, and hasn't faced the man everyone agrees is next. And yet, he still holds the most important belt in the sport. That's the crack in the system. If legacy lets you stall, if fame lets you freeze a division, if belts are handed out based on resumes, not risks, then what's the point of the climb? And it gets worse. Other fighters are watching. They're taking notes. If Aspinall, the guy doing everything right, still gets sidelined, why would anyone take short notice fights? Why take a risk at all? Why bleed for a belt that only moves when it's convenient? This isn't about a matchup. It's about the UFC's soul. The heavyweight division isn't just stalled, it's suffocating. And if this ends in silence, if Jon Jones retires without a unification, if Aspinall never gets the shot, then we're not watching a sport anymore. We're watching a brand protect its legacy at the cost of its integrity. The final shot. Who really deserves the throne, and why every second the UFC waits, Tom Aspinall's crown shines brighter?
I think I got to about 14, 15, and we started like training at a few different MMA gyms. And I started realizing like, people are actually not going into work. Like, this is the job. This is what they're doing to get money and not actually going to a building site like where I'm from.
So here we are. One fighter is ready, active, evolving. The other is silent, protected by nostalgia and highlight reels from a different era. Tom Aspinall has fought. He's won, he's defended, he's put his health on the line, his legacy, his time. And all he's asking for is what he already earned. Jon Jones, he hasn't signed, he hasn't committed. And at this point, he doesn't even have to. Because the longer he stays quiet, the louder the division crumbles. The UFC can wait, the belt can wait. But the fans won't. And Tom Aspinall, he's not waiting anymore. If the title's going to mean anything, someone has to fight for it. And if the champion won't step up, then strip the crown and hand it to the one who never stopped moving forward. Because in a division built on war, fear, and finality, the throne doesn't belong to the one who held it last. It belongs to the last man willing to fight for it. And right now, that man is Tom Aspinall. So now the question's yours. Does Jon Jones still deserve to be called the champ? Or has Tom Aspinall already taken that crown without needing permission? Drop your take in the comments, because the longer this drags on, the more this division feels like a one-man show. If you're rocking with Aspinall, hit that like button. If you still believe in Jon Jones, let us know why. And hey, subscribe if you're tired of waiting for press conferences and want real fight talk straight up, no filters. Because we're not done here. This story isn't over. Not even close.